Today we are going to talk about weddings. So this will be part 2 of a wedding series that we're doing in weddings in Riviera Maya. You can actually see the first part here at the top of the screen, or on the end screen you'll actually see the link to the wedding series. So today's video is going to be more tips about your wedding and things that can help you while you're on a destination wedding. So you're gonna be really interested because you're gonna also meet one of my best friends here in the Riviera Maya. Now this is the actual location where I used to sell art. Now it's turned into like a lobby area, but I used to sell art here. This was my first job in Mexico. I was here in January 2016 all the way till 2019. But this is where I met my friend, my best friend in the whole wide world. No, just kidding, only in Mexico, because everybody gets mad at me when I say somebody's my best friend. But my friend Francisco, come here, come here, come here, come here. So this is Frank, Frank Minera. He has love. I say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So he has Love in Motion Films, and he's gonna join us today because he has lots of great tips and information about how to make your wedding a little bit easier, less stress, and some tips, right?
Some tips, a lot of tips.
A lot of tips. So we're gonna get right into the video, guys. So I do have to give you some information about this guy because he's amazing. So number one, I highly recommend him. That's why I'm bringing him onto this video, because he's an amazing videographer, photographer. And if you guys have gone to my website, first off, mytrishadvisor.com, him and his crew has done all the photos for me, so I'm so thankful for that. And he's so fun to work with. This guy's like, we're cracking up all the time, and we always joke, we're like, people are gonna think we're drunk because we're laughing all the time. I'm like, yeah, all the time. We're just laughing, sober or drunk. But here's the thing, is that I don't know what you told me last, but about how many weddings have you actually recorded?
Over 400.
400 weddings.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And about how many resorts would you say?
Maybe 30, 32.
32?
Yeah.
Okay, 30 resorts, 400 weddings. So the reason I recommend him, not only is his like cinematography beautiful and amazing, but he's super fun to work with. So you can find him, and he's my bestie. But you can find him at loveinmotion.com.
Right.
Or on Instagram. I'll put all the description links will have his information. But you can book him. I highly recommend him. But today he's gonna help us with tips for your wedding. So Frank and I have decided our next shooting location is at the bar.
The bar, yeah.
So while we're on our way there, I think the number one thing that we've been obviously talking about what we want to film and what the tips we want to put in here. And the number one thing that you brought up was sticking to the timeline.
Sticking to the timeline, yeah. Timeline is everything on a wedding day.
Yes, so we're gonna get more into that, but we're gonna go to the bar first. I'm so excited. I ran into Aurelio. Say what's up, Aurelio.
Hi, everyone.
So when I worked here in 2016, he was a sommelier. I can never say the word. And this guy was awesome. So when I was selling wine, I was selling art. He would actually bring my clients wine. Like we had a whole wine and like hors d'oeuvres set up.
Wine is art.
Yeah, wine is art. You're absolutely right. So I'm also so thankful to him because he was so supportive of me, what I was doing, and it worked really well because, you know, art goes really well with wine. Yeah, so when you guys come to Dreams Jade, you gotta see this guy. He's so sweet, so awesome.
And special dinners.
You
will get special.
I like special dinners. So some things you had mentioned about the timeline is something that's really optional in timelines is like a first look.
Yeah, some brides like to have a first look or a first touch, things like that, but not all of them want to do it. So yeah, if we are having a first look before ceremony, then we need to take consideration of that time, you know, that at least 45 minutes or 1 hour.
So these are all things that when you have a wedding coordinator, they're gonna go over the time with you. But the thing that he's really, and even Claudia, when she was talking to us, she's like, timeline is number one. So something that can really hold you up is, from what I understand, is hair and makeup.
Well, yeah, that's a thing, because any bride wants to take shots or film without any makeup.
Oh yeah, they don't want to be filmed.
No.
Right, so you want to get it like at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes what I do is like, I just take like final touches, or maybe we just can pretend lashes or lips, things like that. but at the very end. So it is important to be done when the photo and video starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great tip, because when you have, especially if you have like a large group, like let's say you have 8 bridesmaids
Ooh.
and they all need their makeup done,
Yeah.
that's something that you're going to want to keep into consideration for sure. The number one thing that Frank has mentioned to me is staying on time. So the timeline is really important. Now that's going to be a timeline that you get from your wedding coordinator and also your photographer and hair and makeup.
Yeah, hair
right?
and makeup, yeah. Actually, hair and makeup is the first thing they do during that day. So it is important to have makeup done when the photographer starts.
Okay.
You know?
Which I think is really a great point, because we know hair and makeup is probably one of the most important aspects. As me as a bride, when I got married, I was like, I want to be sure my hair and makeup is perfect.
Yeah.
And especially before somebody's taking a photo of me or a video. So number one, to stay on time, he was saying, he's like, you know, be sure to talk to your photographer and videographer.
Yeah, previous the wedding day, it's important to have an interview.
Okay.
You know,
To
talk
know-
about the timeline.
Right, and the things that you're going to include, and also knowing from your hair and makeup, because letting them know, hey, I have 5 bridesmaids or 8 bridesmaids, so they can account for that. Because if he's doing photo and video, then when you guys are running, like let's say 45 minutes behind, then what you were telling me is that takes away from the photo and video time.
Yeah, that's yeah. They take photo and video time, and then we are running time and we are running light.
Right, which that's what we're gonna get into next. So as far as hair and makeup, really as a photographer or videographer, you don't need the whole time of them getting their hair and makeup done.
No, just the very last details. Sometimes even we pretend, you know, like lashes and lips. Yeah, because
That works.
yeah.
Yeah,
for
then
sure.
you're all done up, and then they're just getting like the last little final touch.
And then we can repeat the take, you know, like very close, or the eyes on earrings,
What's that,
all
Frank?
that time. Yeah, like that.
So this is one of the wedding locations they're actually setting up right now. Look at that. So this is a new wedding location. When I worked here, this wasn't here like this before. This is absolutely beautiful. So as far as the timeline, he was saying there's things to consider before the ceremony, which you should consider time for things like what before the ceremony?
Like first look
Okay.
with your dad. Sometimes there is a first look with the dad.
Aw.
Sometimes they exchange gifts.
Okay.
So we need to have time to take pictures of that exchange.
Okay.
Basically, all these things that happen before ceremony, plus the getting ready, of course.
Yes.
You know what? Something important for me is like I like to have time to have bride portraits.
Yes.
Because before ceremony, I mean, right after getting ready and before ceremony is the only chance I got to have bride portraits. I mean, solos of her, you know, because after that she will be around people.
And
So-
you're gonna want those solo
Yeah,
shots,
yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's all about the bride. We know.
Yeah, it's all about the bride.
Yeah, you'll hear us talk. It's all bride. It's like, wait, there's a groom too. We
Oh
have to-
yeah, by the way, we might have a groom, right?
Exactly. There's a groom too. Perfect. Then I wanted to bring up some things that you had thought or said to me, that like things about after ceremony, which what we're gonna get into is gonna be the next thing is lighting.
Yeah.
But after ceremony stuff that you're gonna have to consider in your timeline, things like
Well, right after ceremony we do the family pictures, formal pictures, of course the wedding party pictures,
right.
and the most important part for me is the newlywed session. So I like to take at least 30 to 45 minutes just with the couple at the beach, at the ceremony location, maybe some garden, maybe some amazing locations at the resort, and take advantage of that, you know, take advantage of this amazing background. Yeah, so I really like to have that session with them and to have the time to do it.
Yeah, because he was explaining to me before is that, oh, I want a picture with my mom, oh, I want a picture with my dad, oh, I want a picture with my cousins and my uncles and my but you have to be sure that you have the proper amount of time for all that.
Yeah.
Because A, lighting, which we're gonna get into next, but B, you gotta be sure that you're gonna get that new photo or that new video with your husband, right?
Yeah, because those are the pictures that you're gonna print, that you're gonna share, that you're gonna hang on your living room, you know?
Yeah.
Those are the pictures of the newlyweds, you know?
Yeah.
For me are the most important ones.
And that's gonna lead right into our next point, which is gonna talk about lighting. Yes. Before we go on to the next one, which is lighting, we're gonna bring up, which you can, as you can tell, we're like in the harsh light of the sun.
Yeah.
But is consider the size of the resort, which I thought was a great point that you told me about, and I was like, oh yeah. Because for example, Dreams Jade, it's from basically right there, boom, that's it. So for example, you were telling me like to walk with the bride
on heels, or maybe the groom wearing a jacket, you know, and they need to take like a 5-minute walk to get to the reception, or a 10-minute walk from the beach to the lobby, things like that. It's like it is time and they get hot. So yeah, we need to consider that distances at the resort.
And I think that's a great point, because like, for example, if you want to stay at a really huge resort, which they have lots of options and different things to do, that's awesome. But if you're taking like a 15-minute walk to get somewhere, he can't just appear and you can't just appear. So here, I would say at Dreams Jade, the most you're gonna walk is like 5 minutes, which it's like a medium-sized resort. So I think it's a really nice option because it's large enough to where you can have your privacy with your family or whatever, or even with your new husband and wife, but you can also just walk 5 minutes and you're where you need to be. So that's something to consider as well.
Yeah, very important thing.
So the next one, which actually this was in our first conversation, this was the first thing that came up, but really a big one is consider
the light.
The light. Yeah, so even right now you can see, like, if we take our glasses off, we have to squint.
And look at the shadows on my face, you know? Dark shadows on my face.
I just got bags under my
that
eyes now.
I don't like that on a bright face.
Yeah, so exactly, and it shows like every little wrinkle. So this is something to really consider, because the best lighting in this area is between
like 5 to 6:30, I guess. Yeah, so we got a smooth light, really soft, so you can have a really romantic shot with not that dark, and especially there's not gonna be like, you know, doing like nice. So yeah, a softer light is better, but after 6:30, close to 7, it's gonna be dark, and we would like to have this ocean too on the picture, so, and all the greenery and all that stuff. So yeah, to have a really good light is like 5 to 6:30, something like that.
So really the two issues is it's either too light or too bright, like it is now, or it's too dark. So there's a whole reason that your photographer or videographer will want certain shots at a certain time, so take that into consideration for sure. So the next issue that Frank had brought up to me, which I thought was really interesting, is a lot of times the bride has issues with the veil.
Yeah, a lot of times.
So especially if it's like a big long veil. So what are some tips on, or how do you handle it as a photographer and videographer with this?
Well, most of the time the veil is pulling her hair, you know, because the wind, because sometimes it's long and
consider
it's
the
like
wind
flying. But we want those veil pictures, of course. Everybody wants those veil amazing pictures. So most of the time what I do is take some shots with the veil and then take it off, do the rest of the session with the newlyweds and the couple, really romantic shots, and then put the veil again and do all the shots with the veil once. You know?
So then you're not moving around with it and trying to like walk with it in the heat and it gets stuck in something. So I thought that was a really good idea, because we know we love the, like, especially if you have a long veil, the beautiful long veil shots, that's something definitely to consider.
Yeah, they are definitely to consider, because those are amazing shots, let's be honest. Those are amazing shots, and that's what they bring the veil for, right? Yeah.
The dramatic shots.
Yeah.
So Frank and I were talking about how fun it is. It's been like so nice to run into everybody we know. Like, it's been super fun. It's like, oh, you're here? Wait, what are you doing here? We're like, we're filming a video about weddings. They're like,
but you know what's funny? That after so many years, everybody knows you, everybody reminds you, and it is really fun to meet with friends again.
Yeah.
And they are like saying like,
shoot.
what are you doing? What are you for? Sorry.
No, yeah, they're just like interested in what we're doing and what's going on, and like, hey, it's so nice to see you, because I used to work here for 3 years. You worked here for a few years, and so it's just nice to see people that you know and they remember you. You're like, oh, you remember me? Yet another thing to consider is your hair. So if you're gonna wear your hair down, look at this, imagine trying to take photos. And if you have, one of the things that he was mentioning to me was like, if you have a lot of people in a wedding that have long hair and they all have their hair down.
Yeah, everybody trying to fix her hair, and it's like, it takes a lot of time to fix a shot. So the best advice is to tie your hair, you know? I know some brides have an amazing hair and they want to show it, like long it, but let's try to find a way to not have it on your face, you know?
Yeah, so something that can like even have your hair half up or pinned away from your head.
Yeah.
He was telling me it's like a really, it makes it so much easier to take photo and video, not just obviously for the bride, but for the entire group. Because when your hair is constantly flying in your face, everybody's trying to adjust. And again, that's sticking to your timeline and getting those photos. So like he was saying, I know a lot of ladies want to show off their hair. You can still show off your hair, but try to find a way that kind of where it's like half up or even all the way up.
Because, you know, let's be honest, this is the beach, so it's gonna be windy.
And we're not even directly on the beach. We're by the pool, and my hair is like, well, my hair is always a mess, so that's another
Mine
thing.
too.
So keep that in mind when you're planning to do these types of shots, to maybe consider doing something different with your hair that will hold it back from your face. Or cut it like his. So we have a wedding about to start right now. Oh, hi! ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? So here they come. We're just gonna sneak in here real quick. Look at this. Look at beautiful location. Oh, this is so beautiful! So the next point we're gonna talk about is getting to know your photographer or your videographer. For me, it's like, I recommend him obviously because I've worked with him before and I know him, and he makes me laugh and I feel comfortable in front of the camera. Woo! So, I mean, what is it something that you do to get to know your bride and how she can get to know you?
Well, I really like to have a video call with all my brides because there is a way to meet each other and to talk about the expectations, to talk about style, the timeline that we have been talking about,
Yeah.
the resort, how many people is coming, all that details that let me know how it's gonna work, and to have that chemical between chemistry, sorry.
No chemicals.
No,
Chemistry.
Chemistry.
Yeah, so having good chemistry with the bride.
Yeah, so that interview let me have a good chemistry with the bride, so we can talk about all that things we're gonna do that big day.
Yes.
Because it's a big day, you know?
It is the day. Yeah, and the thing is that I feel like, you know, for me, what's really important is that even though I'm always filming you guys, I am still nervous every time. Even Frank's like, oh my gosh, I'm in front of the camera. Like, he's always behind the camera. Even though I'm always in front of the camera, I'm still nervous. So I think it's so important to have somebody that's gonna make you feel comfortable, make you laugh, and all those things. So one thing that I love is that when Frank is always telling me how he works with his brides, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I want you to tell me, like, how do you get your bride to laugh, or what do you get her to do? Like, you're always telling her how to do her hair or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Because for me, it's more important to have a genuine laugh or a real smile,
Yeah.
instead of just telling you
Like
to
laugh,
smile.
laugh,
Look at
laugh.
me and smile, you know? It's like that, it's a fake. So I really like the couple to enjoy the moment and do some stuff like just walk, you know, like walk and fix your hair and look that way and walk towards me. Things like that, silly things that makes the
love
couple
that.
feel a little bit confident.
Yeah.
And they laugh all the time, you know. I look ridiculous, but they
You
laugh.
do look,
That's
but you
what I
look
want.
ridiculous, but it's the best.
I guess.
I'm good at
works.
I'm a natural at looking ridiculous too. So I think that's what's really important about that connection, and knowing that that person is gonna make you feel comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah,
So
that's the
that's
main
huge. No
purpose.
matter who you choose, of course we want you to go with Frank, but no matter who you choose, take the time to do a video call and get to know them, because like I shared in the screenshot, that person made the bride and the guests more stressed, and that's the last thing you need.
The last thing you need is a stressed bride.
Yeah, no, we don't need no bridezillas. Now we are gonna start our next section under the area here because we're gonna talk about the rain. But we went to the Coco Cafe and we got ourselves a couple of, what do you call it?
Espresso.
Oh yeah, espresso, I forgot.
Okay. Luces,
Listo.
cámara,
Corriendo.
audio,
Corriendo.
acción.
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 Lights, camera, action. Sorry, Ms. Jackson. Okay, so I have to bring it up. What happens if it rains? Because our
Ooh, it
rainy
happens.
season, right? Yes.
It happens.
Our rainy season in the area is basically from June to November, but the worst part of it is September, October.
Yeah.
So
First of all, do not panic. Please do not panic. Everything is under control. Wedding coordinators know perfectly what to do, and most of the time, every resort has a backup indoors venue, so everything is under control. And don't let that rain scare you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is true that sometimes it's like a 10 minutes rain.
And that's what I was gonna say, is that a lot of people freak out, like just on vacation or for their wedding. They'll go, oh my gosh, every day it's supposed to rain. Listen, every day, even in January, sometimes
Yeah.
it can rain, but it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. Where I'm from in Iowa, we have what's called rainy days. That's normal. But here in this area of Mexico,
It can rain at any time.
yeah, it just rains, and when it rains, you better run. And then when it's done, it's beautiful and clear. Okay, so next I want to talk about video, because one thing you've told me is that brides always get photo, but
Yeah, well,
sometimes,
most of the time they get.
yeah, almost always they get photo. But what I've personally read, like I'm in a few like wedding groups on Facebook, and there was a bride in there that asked like, what's one thing you regret? And I saw like 3 brides put like, we regret not getting video.
Yeah, sure, because you know, video gives you a different perspective and a full feeling about that day.
Yeah.
I mean, we got an amazing photographers in Love and Motion, and we work with them all the time. But video gives you a different perspective. I had a bride 3 months ago that told me that she was really glad to buying a video package because, well, her dad passed away,
Okay.
and she got his voice on the video, you know,
Yeah.
at the wedding day. So yeah, it was like, oh wow. So she
Yeah.
was happy of buying that, because you don't realize how important it is until you hear your dearly beloved
Yeah.
on video, right?
And I feel like you had told me something a while back where you were like when you watch this, you're gonna watch this 10 years from now,
Yes.
30 years from now. Your grandkids or your great grandkids are gonna not just see photos, but now we have so much more now where we have video.
Yeah, video is trendy now, you know.
It's not just trendy,
look
but
at
yeah,
the social media, it's video all the time.
Yes, yeah, everything's video. I mean, even Instagram now is everything's video. So I thought that was really interesting when you told me that, because I never realized that, like, I'm not a photographer, I'm not a videographer. Well, I guess I am now, but not in
You are.
weddings.
Actually, you are.
Not in weddings, but I thought that was really interesting because that's something that I've actually seen other brides say that they regret. So you do offer photo and video packages, and I really like that, because there's some people that only offer photo and there's others that offer video only.
Just video, yeah.
I will bring this up because I know that vendors have to usually charge a rate to enter in most of the resorts.
Yeah, most of them.
So that's really good that you offer both, because then you come in as one vendor. Like you have a vendor fee to enter, like your hair and makeup could be 2 or 1 vendor fee, and you as a vendor,
Photo and video.
photo and video counts as 1 vendor.
Yeah,
So
that's an important thing.
That's a good one. How do you pose the bride?
The bride is gonna be like this, you know. being sexy. And he's gonna be something like this on her, you know, looking handsome, looking cool.
Act like we're not hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen on your wedding day, so be ready to sweat.
Be ready to sweat.
Be ready to sweat. Going on video, something that you told me that you recently started offering is live streaming.
Live streaming, yeah.
Which I think is really great for people that can't make it, or like what?
Yeah, especially after pandemic, a lot of people stop traveling and the big weddings become smaller weddings.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, they did say that to us,
Yeah.
that like the weddings used to be closer to 60 or 70 people,
Yeah.
but now it's been closer to like 40 people.
Yes.
40 or 50.
So for all of those who didn't make it, we can do a streaming so they can follow the ceremony.
That's so
live.
cool.
Yeah.
Because I know
Yeah.
my grandma right now would not be able to travel, so that would be really nice for her to.
But she can watch the ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting because I've never even known that was an option. So
Yeah,
live
it is
streaming
an option.
and
I mean, you know, it was the need of having an option that make us like stream the ceremonies, because all the time people can do it with the cell phone,
Yes.
but it's not the same.
no.
I'd rather the guests to be enjoying the ceremony and seated.
Yeah.
And we can do
That's-
the streaming.
That's a really good point, because you will see in a lot of weddings that people are standing taking photos, and it actually gets in the way of the photographer and
Yeah.
videographer. And if you think about it, the bride and the groom, they've paid, you know,
They pay really good
they
money.
pay good money for that. So just being aware of that. So something like live streaming is really a great option, so people can sit and enjoy it. And like you mentioned, that they're not trying to live stream for family back home. They can just sit and enjoy
But you
it.
know what is worse than a cell phone?
What?
An iPad.
Oh,
There's a lot of people with iPads, you know, like trying to have a shot or to film.
Right.
And it's like, damn, what you doing?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it gets in the way of their shot. So that's
Yeah.
just something to consider as a guest and as a bride and groom, that you can pay for something like that that gets the feed back home. And professionally, like he was telling me, there's 2 different shots they can take.
Yep.
Where they have a close-up of the bride and groom and maybe something that kind of shows the whole surrounding area as far as live streaming. So I think I never even heard of that until you mentioned that. I was like, oh, that's a really great idea.
It is a good
Yeah.
idea, and it is a really good product that the brides are asking for it
Yeah.
all the time now.
So you can go live on your
You can
wedding.
go live and be a star.
Claudia mentioned that this is going to be it is a new wedding location for dinner, because I don't know if you've seen those areas where, like, I think it's in Thailand or Vietnam, where now they're putting chairs in the water and tables, and then you eat with your feet literally in the water. I thought that was such a cool idea, literally, because it's so hot here, so to have just your feet in the water would just feel super, like, cool, literally. My hair. I'm trying to like sit because of my crate. Look at it. See, that's my hair.
Maybe we switch places.
Oh, like this? Oh yeah. He's the professional. Frank, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to share this with you guys, because I've been working with Frank for like 4 years on different types of videos. He's helped me with my original intro on my Trish Advisor. Amazing intro. It's amazing intro, which we need to update it. He's helped me with so many other videos, the farm to table video and other things that has just even taught me how to film. Like, I remember at first when I was first sending him videos to help me edit, he's like, Trisha, you're like this. You're gonna make us all sick and dizzy. And I'm like, he's like, left and right or up and down. That's all we need. So he's even helped me learn how to be a better YouTuber, let's say. So anyways, I really wanted to bring you in because I love the guy, he's awesome, but not only that, he's really good at his work. And so I just want to say thank you for joining me. I'm so happy to have you and to have you on the other side of the camera.
I know, that was weird. That was really weird. Let
Now
me
you
tell
know the
you. It's
bride's
like,
field.
yeah, that's how the bride's field. Yeah. No, thanks to you. Thanks to let me be part of this. It's crazy, but I like it. I really enjoy it. I was really nervous at the beginning. Actually, I'm still nervous. I don't know how it goes. But yeah, thanks to you, Trish. And let me tell you that if you brides, any of you book with us on any package, you can have 10% off if you mention my Trish Advisor.
Sounds like
What
a
about
deal.
that? Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much,
No,
Trish.
thank you. And you know what I was going to say is be sure, like I'll put all the links in the description box below, how to contact him, and at least reach out to him because he's definitely, I feel like, the best option to be your photographer and videographer. Yeah, baby, we did it. Woo! See you guys
Thanks to
soon.
you guys.
Hurry up and get married at Destination Wedding in Mexico. We can't wait to have you guys. Bye, guys. Lex? So I just want to say thank you. This is Claudia. She's the weddings manager here at Dreams Jade. We're thankful to have her. She was able to show us around and show us all 10 wedding locations they have. So thank you so much for having Frank and I. We've been really enjoying ourselves here. It's like I was telling her earlier, I said it's nice to come back and see people that we haven't seen in years and they're still here, you know? So thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you both. You're part of the Dream Jade family and hope to welcome many of your wedding clients.
Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. Bye guys, see you soon here at Dreams Jade. Woohoo!